Don't try to create this huge brand or all the products and just launch it online. Maybe 0.00001% of that ever works.
Let's talk about wholesale for a bit, because that's been a big part of your business. Your products are sold in places like REI. How important has wholesale been to making Atomic Child your full-time business?
So that's kind of what changed the whole direction of what I was doing. It's not really something I thought about. When I first started this, was doing markets direct to customer on the weekends. And we were doing really well at that. You know, I was making, at that time, more money than I'd ever made in my life just selling direct to market. So it was great. I worked 2 or 3 days a week and was just doing that. And me and my wife and friends were doing it every weekend. I was obviously thinking about how does it grow or whatever, but at one of those markets, I met a guy who worked at REI and he just worked there. He wasn't a manager or anything. And he was just one day was like, hey, would you ever want to be in REI? And of course I was just yeah, just thinking that would never happen. And so it was probably a year's worth of process. They used to have this program where you had to sign up for us called the Innovator Series. And so I did that. You make a little video. If they like your video, that video is still up on my YouTube channel. Completely terrible. I did it on my iPhone. I had to slow it down so it was long enough. It was terrible, but I did it. So I did that. I got accepted to fly up to Kent, Washington, and present myself, the brand at REI headquarters. And that was really just the big change. It was just all of a sudden, because after that initial talk, they were they saw I was just one person. I walked in with a Ziploc bag with my stickers and I dressed like this. I walked by people doing presentations and in suits and stuff. I'm okay, that's not me, so I'm not going to dress up like that. But so I sit in there and we talk and everything, and they're just we like what you do. You're obviously one person. Maybe we do a collab or something, or maybe we test you out in a local Colorado store. And I was like, sweet, that's great. That's more than I ever hoped for. So probably about a year later, I get a call. It was so we want to roll you out to all 170 stores. And she's like, can you do that? And I was like, yeah, obviously I had no idea what that. That just completely changed the course of this whole thing, seeing the power of wholesale, getting POs from one company that are more money than I ever made in my life. And then also just like with design, once you get that name brand client, people see that I'm an REI and they just go, oh, I'm on every REI in the United States. And then other wholesalers oh, obviously it sells, So it's just opens up so many doors.
How did you overcome the challenge of production? Because before you're just selling during the weekends, and like you said, 170 orders. That must have had its own challenges.
Yeah. So luckily, at the company I worked at before, I was doing production as well. So I was sourcing, thousands of orders, huge orders, $500,000 orders worth of products. So I was doing all that before, which is kind of a leg up. And I've had, I've worked with connections overseas that I've known them for 10 plus years now. That was very helpful. But yeah, when you get a PO for 170 locations, I basically had a savings, and I was just I took every cent I had, put it on the table, and was just roll that dice, it was the one chance. It was I had to take that chance. The REI's not going to come to you and be like, nah, I can't do it. And then maybe we'll try it a year. You're gone, right? They're not going to come back. So I just had to try it.
Getting into REI was kind of a surprise for you, but having been in this world for a little while now, do you have any advice for anyone who's thinking about getting their products in a wholesale environment?
When you start out, you shouldn't even worry about that stuff. You should go local. That's what I did. You can do stuff on consignment. When you start, I would suggest once you reach a certain point, don't do consignment. It's a pain in the ass. It's just hard to keep track of on the back end and stock and everything. In most little towns or larger towns, there's a main street. There's a place where people go shop. I know it's weird to network in person, but that is super important these days because anybody can send an email now. So email, the connecting through email is awesome and works fine. But making a connection in person, this day and age means so much more now than ever before. So don't be afraid to go do that. Start small. Don't get a credit card and max it out. Launch everything. Don't try to create this huge brand or all the products and just launch it online. Maybe 0.00001% of that ever works, because I've tried that many times and failed every single time. Network in person, start doing events like markets, local markets. There's all kinds, any mid-sized town, there's all kinds of markets or farmers markets or something every weekend. Go there. You're going to have to try different events. You could do 5 and 3 could be terrible. 2 could be good. You have to figure out which ones work for you. They're not all going to work. They're not all going to work for your brand or your idea. Certain markets are geared towards certain things. I've definitely done markets where I've gone and sold less than $50. It's just, I just didn't fit in, and you have to try them all to see where you fit in. You know, there's conventions for every type of niche you can think of this day and age. So if that's a path you want to take, but start small, start in real life. When you first start out, don't worry about profit. I know that's weird to say, but when you first start out, you just want to see if you're making something that people want and will buy. And that's really all you should be concerned about in the beginning, and nothing else.